Hello there. Just want to say thank you first and foremost for coming on and just learning a little about my campaign. But I wanted to start off first things with probably introducing myself and just going through a bit about my life in the past. Reality is probably a lot of people have not maybe known my history or known what I've done throughout my many years of existence. So instead of just writing it down and giving you a CV or a resume and letting you read it, I'd probably best just talk, right? And hear about what I think my life has been like. And why not? You get to learn about me a little bit. So where to begin? First and foremost, I've been a Whittier all my life. I was born in PH back when it was the one little cubicle, not the conglomerate that it is now today. I had a really good life, lived down by Whitwood for quite a bit, and then moved over to California, right above Whittier Boulevard. There throughout all of high school, and I did Whittier Christian, the whole system, from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade at the high school. Can't complain. It was a good education. It really got me grounded in terms of moving on to my next step, and I was able to get into Whittier College. I initially went in to play golf, was the goal, because in high school I advanced all the way through CIF, one league, and I was really into golf, and the whole point was, let's go pro, let's make it big, like everyone does when they're 17 and 18. Just want to go professional in sports. Had a great time, Whittier College. It was really good. A bit of an adjustment for me to get used to, going from a little more of a sheltered reality to everything blunt in your face. So the first year at Whittier College was a little rough in terms of adapting to things. I probably spent quite a bit of time at home doing laundry. What else about that? I pledged in a fraternity at Whittier College, the William Penn Society. It was an absolutely lovely time and still have a lot of some of my best friends and brothers today in that, so great thing in that one. What else I say about Whittier College? Played golf, like I said, excelled there. The program was a little up and down at the time, which is unfortunate because I had dedicated myself to playing golf there, so that took a little bit of a side turn for me. But luckily that helped me really push into my academics. So I started out as a business administration major, like pretty much everyone who goes to college. But then I took an intro to political science course freshman year and just realized, like, wow, I think I can do something with this. And this was really interesting. Step back was actually probably my economics teacher in my senior year in high school, Mr. Hubbard, that really pushed me into seeing the fun in economics and government and how it really is real world applicable. So from then, I think that experience coupled with my intro to poli-sci class really helped me see just what an enjoyable field it could be, especially to work within. So I made the switch over to political science major, really got into my studies, did a directed study on counterterrorism and terrorism related issues. I studied abroad in England, so that's how I kind of got into it initially. Sadly, it's not exactly dinner conversations, but I really enjoyed studying it, and I was kind of at the point early on in life where there weren't a whole lot of people doing research on a big scale, so I was able to get in at the time correctly. I ended up graduating early, 3.5 years. I took summer courses when I studied abroad, then I took Jan term and made sure I really wanted to get through and get going on life. So that was fun, but I did enjoy myself. I met my wife, Raquel, there. She was in the Thalian Society, so luckily, well, not luckily, but she deployed to Iraq, so we would not have seen each other. She would have graduated before I would have got there if she hadn't deployed to Iraq her first time, so kind of thankful for that because I was able to meet her. Fell in love immediately. I think I noticed her before she noticed me. She says it's creepy. I don't. I think it's just pure love. Yeah, that was it. So then, after that, I went over to England. I graduated early, so I got involved in working in intelligence on the business side of things, and there was a program in England for Intelligence International Security Masters. So I said, yes, absolutely applied there, St. Andrews and Aberdeen, chose King's College in London, luckily so, because everyone knows it's the best university in the world. And no, I'm not talking about King's College in Oxford, I'm talking about the real King's College in London. KCL for life, hashtag that. I had a great time over there, really intense program, but a different system of education where you know what you're doing with your master's, and even on a lower end, you know what you're doing with your bachelor's. So for instance, if you're gonna be a tradesman, if you're gonna be a plumber, an electrician, whatnot, you would go get an apprenticeship out of your high school equivalent. You wouldn't go on to college if you didn't need it, and it was completely fine. So I was with individuals who were already working in the government or did work for some things, so it was a really good course. Really tough, really pushed you a lot to think, right? Kind of just different intelligence-related aspects of life, and just security, how it should work. So really got it, really developed a lot of thinking through that. So I credit KCL and Whittier College, of course, but KCL with really pushing me over that philosophical edge of things and getting down to just how do we make it really applicable for everyone in life. Loved it there. But I admit, I lived a stone's throw away from Thames River. So if you know London, that's the river that runs through it. I literally lived off of Tower Bridge, between London Bridge and Tower Bridge there. So on the weekends, it was really depressing because everyone just leaves. It's kind of like LA used to be, where just no one was there. So, God, I just bored. So I thought, hey, I'll do something. Went to a student fresher fair as a older student in the master's program. Got into rugby, started really enjoying it, and have great mates from it. And it really changed my life in terms of friendships. And to this day, my best man, Gurjeet Samra, was in my wedding. Just so many guys that just really meant a lot to me. And I loved the experience of it. So started playing rugby, had a good time. Came back to the States, started working, got picked up over there for counterterrorism actually a little bit. Started working over there in London quite a bit. Came back because we were going to get married, me and my wife, after her second deployment finally. So did that. Had a great time. Wedding was awesome, by the way. Thanks for asking. If you haven't guessed by now, some people told me, man, you're really funny. No, I think I'm just honest. I think I'm just a realist. I really am. I just talk. I just talk and think. I think that's where the humor comes from. But stepping back, if I could have done anything in life, it would be Will Ferrell in doing what he did in life. Nothing better than having humor and just laughing about life and what we do. So that's why being a parent of 3 kids under 6 is a load of fun, because anyone who's had kids knows it's a work, but you get some funny stories out of it. So to continue on with my background where I was, started working, really enjoyed it. Intelligence is a tough field to work in, just because not a lot of stuff are you able to talk about, kind of like certain aspects of the military. It's not exactly dinner conversation, and it's just always off and on, right? So some days you're on call a little bit longer, even on the business intelligence side of things, not just security intelligence. It's a tough industry to be in. It's not for everyone, and a lot of my colleagues in England were divorced, and they always said, you know, you're going to be married, you should probably get out of the industry within the first 10 years because it's just going to consume your life. But at the time, it was really made sense. So unfortunately, though, when we came back in after working for a little bit, got stabbed in the neck. So I was a victim of a random act of violence. So if you can see, whenever you see me up close, you'll see I probably shave about once a week, so you can notice it a bit more. You see the scar that I have here. We were at Shoreline Village before the wedding. My best mate, Gurjeet, was there, wife, and we were just having a few drinks and just eating, enjoying ourselves. And I was leaving early to go coach rugby the next day for men's college team, Whittier College, surprising. And random act of violence, so I was going into my car, getting there, and just a local transient who was high on opiates for the day decided that morning he wanted to kill someone, so came up behind me as I was getting into my car and punctured my carotid and jugular and almost severed it. So today I have Teflon holding it together. So if you know how it works, your vein there, right? Teflon is the tough thing there, so it pinches it like that. So it changed my life in the sense that, you know, I can't go upside down a lot. I can't do certain things just because of the loss of blood flow. It's holding on so tight. But the moral of the story is I lived. You know, I was bleeding out. Luckily, I was able to keep calm, plug up. I could see, it's pretty graphic, I apologize. See, plugged it up, went back in. There was an ER trauma nurse there on call, so they were able to get me help very quickly. And I was being operated within 38 minutes of the stabbing because there was just a vascular surgeon who happened to be on call at the hospital they took me to. St. Mary's, by the way, fantastic. Not in Whittier, but credit them for saving my life. In a coma for a little bit in ICU. It just wasn't a good time, but I had a lot of good support, and that really meant a lot to me. And fortunately, I bounced back really quick. I was back working within 3 months of it. Still took a while because they had to cut through the muscles to get to it, so swallowing, chewing, even going to the bathroom hurt all the time, so it was a really rough couple months. But I was physically fit, and the doctor said, hey, look, you really made a good recovery where most people don't. One, they don't live. Two, they don't make that good a recovery. So I took it as that moving forward. My only problem was I think I was too good. So what you saw on the outside was good. On the inside, though, I was just crazy rampant with PTSD. it's not something that people talk about a lot. They just see that you're looking good and looking fine, so there must be everything is okay with you. So it really hurt me a lot. Luckily, my wife was there. Raquel was there to help pick me up and to keep me moving forward. But there were a couple months, probably a good 6 months, where it was tough to live. It really was. Constantly thinking about it all the time. Whenever you turn your neck, even today, I don't have as much mobility. So it really defined my life quite a bit. In that, but I started working with someone who's a veteran in Vietnam. Won't mention his name, but we really worked well together and talked a lot about experiences. I looked at him as being a hero. He looked at me as being heroic in certain things, and it was just nice to be able to talk about it. And the more that we started talking, the more I started talking with other people who had PTSD, and it really helped revolutionize my life in terms of understanding what it is. And I had a college professor, again, won't mention the name, who we started talking a lot about it, and came to the point that after all the countless therapy sessions I went to about it, and I never felt good, got on medication, all lethargic, it just wasn't good. But the reality is with PTSD, you're gonna have it every day of your life. Whenever I shave, I always think about it. Whenever my daughter asks me about it, I always think about it. Whenever I chew and I get that awkward feeling, I always think about it. But it's how you let it define your life really is what changes things. And to this day, teaching, I always talk in a psychology class on it, I tell people all the time, it's how your viewpoint is moving forward and the positivity you take out of it. So I could be negative and say, you ruined my life, it curtailed my career, I couldn't do intelligence as much anymore with having PTSD and having this visual scar here. So that changed my career. So I could take a negative stance, but I chose, after talking to more people, that, hey, look, it's how I really get on with it. So I chose to be positive, and that's why today when people stop me and say, you are the happiest guy I've ever seen, I tell them, look, I almost died. I should have died, right? This is my second chance at life. So I'm very happy. I'm very positive. It doesn't always mean I'm happy in terms of I enjoy things, but there's no reason to be negative because I should be dead. I should. So that's kind of my story overall. I know I jammed a lot of things in that one, but that's who I am. The big stuff. I'm trying to think what else. I've already said I enjoy rugby. I referee, actually, for Southern California Rugby Referee Society, which is part of USA Rugby. So on the weekends, a lot of times, you'll see me traveling around, and pretty much every major college in the area has it, plus men's teams and women's teams and youth teams. So there's over 30,000 people in the area playing rugby, so it's a big sport that you don't see as much, but it's getting bigger, so I referee with that, and aspirations one day maybe go on a high panel referee stuff. Professional would be fun. They could take me elsewhere and let me ref. That'd be a load of fun. But right now, it's just good to stay in shape, and I love the sport. So it's giving back to it in the community overall. I love international football. No, not Americano football. Sorry, I probably lost a lot of votes there. But I love international football, so I'm a big Chelsea supporter, always, because I lived in the borough of Chelsea. So you have to support the people that you live in. That's just the way the world works. What else about me? I'm a big cyclist. Love road cycling. You can probably catch me riding Mar Vista, or over if you go East Road over to La Habra Heights and back. You can always catch me even going through La Corda. You'll see me there, and I'm always the guy with the flamboyant jerseys, the colors. If you haven't noticed by now, I really enjoy colors. Pastels, pinks, you name it, I wear it. That's what I do. Even in teaching, I'm the guy with the pink tie and the pink shirt. That's just how I roll. That's how I do it. Avid cyclist, yep, said that. Enjoy working around the house. I really do. I really like making things. I'm a big creator. My brain was always, I'm a visual thinker, and from being a teacher now and looking at all the studies, most of us are surprisingly visual thinkers. It's just the way we're taught is not visually. So I really enjoy putting things together and seeing the process. I love geometry and seeing all that, how we would move forward with it. What else? Love my kids. I don't really know what I did in life before kids, even though I have lots of pictures of what I did and had a great time. Kids run your life, and I'm thankful for that because they crack me up. It's such bundles of joy. So we have 3, 6, 4, and 1. Victoria, Vincent, the 5th, and Malcolm. And the funny story behind that is my wife wouldn't let me name our third child or a second son, Vincent Malcolm McLeod the 6th, because we already had the 5th. So we just switched the names around and did Malcolm Vincent McLeod. And that takes me to why those names. Family's originally from Scotland. So I'm absolutely massively involved in my heritage. Got married in a kilt with our tartan. everything. So a lot of pictures you see, you'll see me embracing that. Yeah, I was told don't talk as much about it. Oh no, it's all Scottish for me, all Scottish. But I'm very diverse. Obviously, my wife's family is from Nicaragua, so our kids are mixed. And we love it. We do. It's great. I love seeing diversity in people because it's so boring just being generic. It really is. And everyone always sees this white guy and just assumes that I'm your typical boring guy. I really embrace a lot. I do. I love learning other cultures. One other thing I love doing is traveling. Because I think when you travel, you see how other people do things in the world. And it's not fair to say that we do things the best, right? I didn't vote for President Trump. No, I didn't. Don't wish him any ill will, but no, I didn't vote for him. I believe we need to be diverse, and we need to expand our minds, and how you do that is by learning from other people, from other cultures. You name it. We got to do that. This is such a small world. We can get anywhere we want in a day on a plane, anywhere. We should bring that back. And yeah, it's kind of my philosophy on life and where I look at things. But enough about the philosophy, because that's another film. And I could talk for days on my philosophy in life. Outside of that, I am a Methodist, raised Christian. Don't think I really actually knew what it was. It just kind of went through the motions, sadly, and I admit that. Shamefully, it was too bad. But came around, I'm a Methodist. I go to the First United Methodist Church in Uptown Whittier. Lovely if you'd like to stop by. It's an absolutely great place just to learn a little bit about yourself. But I will say this. I'm not religious in the sense of it's my way or no way. And I learned that a lot working with a lot of Muslims in London. Working in counterterrorism, at the time the people in intelligence I was working with were agents and were analysts and were Muslims. And we started talking a lot, and it really is the standards that you adhere to. So, yes, I believe in God, and I first and foremost will tell people that all the time. However, I also believe God gives free will. And partly why I'm a Methodist, as well as I don't believe in the predestination of you're set to being just because you're gonna be something. I think God gives us the free will that allows ourselves to adapt and to grow and to change and do the things that we want. And whatever you do, that's on you. So I really take that approach. So I have a lot of friends, people ask me all the time, a lot of friends that are gay. I support them. I really do. I absolutely, all the time. It's just one of those things. It's a really interesting outlook on life I have, that you do what you want in life, and if you're happy doing it, that's what makes me happy. Because again, going back from my positive stance, we have to adapt that in life, and we have to take ownership of that. And I really firmly believe that we shouldn't allow people, though, to disenfranchise our way of life, right? You shouldn't do something that is going to hurt me. However, we have to also learn to work together too, and that's one of the biggest things I bring, is the ability to work with other people that are totally different. Like I've said before in my other videos, I am a teacher in Compton Unified School District at Dominguez High School, and I teach 11th and 12th graders government and economics, one course in U.S. history, but primarily government economics. And I'm very different. It's pretty clear in that one. However, I don't see that as a bad thing. I see that as a good thing, that we all have different experiences and things that we've went through in life that we can talk about, and we actually become better because of it. So I like taking that approach. And whenever anyone hears, oh, you're religious, you're a Methodist, you believe in God, there's always a negative connotation with that. And I have to step in and let them know that, hey, look, I'm sorry if you felt like that's the way religion has been before, but with me it's not. You have free will. I'm going to be your friend regardless if you're a God-fearing individual or you're an atheist. And surprisingly, I actually have quite a few atheist friends. Interesting, huh? Great people, absolute great people that I couldn't say enough good things about. But I guess it's how you look at life. It really is. So I hope I've answered some question or just told you a little bit about myself. And again, I could talk for hours because all I do is talk. I know. My wife always tells me just... anything else you ever want to know about me, just ask, right? And I'll try my best to be forthcoming, because one of my big things in this campaign is for you to get to know me. I believe in stances, right? And I do, if you look on the webpage there, and you've been on all my social media and what I've talked with other people about, I do have 4 big points that I really push on. But it's not so much those, it's the fact that when I get elected, I'm gonna have to work with other individuals. It's not just gonna be, here's what I want, let's do it now and vote on it. It's gonna be working with other people. So I can't say that I have the definitive answer. I can say that I think I have a mindset of where it might be better suited, but I can't say for certain that what I'm pushing is gonna be the most effective. I can't. So I have to be open with it. So I want you to get to know me on that sense, that who I am, you're voting for the process of me, of Vince McLeod. You're not voting for Vince McLeod, the person that says these things. Because reality is, as a city councilman, I'm gonna be hit with a lot more than just those 4 issues, guaranteed. And even on a smaller end, they're gonna grow. So I want you to know who I am and how I make decisions going through, and hopefully that kind of puts you at ease a little bit about who you're voting for. And I'm not oblivious to say if you don't like that, there are other candidates to vote for, and please do. But I have the same message as I always do. We need to increase our voter participation. We really do. That's gonna make me the happiest, and I think that's gonna make Whittierites happy in general, is if we get from a 20% to 50, 55% voter turnout. We really need to. That's the passion. That's the political scientist in me that's coming out, the economist that just gets excited for civic engagement, because I think when we work together, we're better. We are, hands down. Teams are always better than individuals. Although at times it can be extroverted and introverted back and forth, we are better together. 100%. Hashtag that, always better together. That's my push in this one. So hopefully, though, you see that in me. And again, anything you ever have a question for, just ask. You can get a hold of me at all the different things that I have here. We can talk, we can just discuss about things, and I'm a very honest and open book. Made mistakes in life, who hasn't? But it's how you get on from it. You don't let the negativity keep you down. And as a teacher, I do this, and as a life member of society, I like doing that. It's okay for us to tear down, because in order to get to the root of things, we have to tear things down occasionally and pick them apart and see. So we tear people down or we tear things down, but it's about bringing back up is really what the importance is. And too much in life, we focus on the tear down and then we leave it at that, right? We got to build it back up and bring people back in and reintegrate them back into society and push us forward. So that's a big believer in, or I'm a big believer in that in terms of that process and what it looks like. Yeah, that's it. I love Whittier. I love my life. I couldn't be happier. We could always have better things. Of course we could, but it's not about that, because we live better than 98% of the rest of the world. So all it takes is for you to go to a third world country, either on our same, you can just go across the border and see, or you can go somewhere in Europe in slums and see how good we really have it here. So I love Whittier, really do. But thank you again for listening. And anytime, feel free to ask me a question. So I really appreciate, though, you giving me the time of your day, the 15 minutes, just to learn a little bit about me. So have a lovely rest of the day, and hopefully get your vote April 10th. And if not, vote. That's the main thing here, okay?